In the heart of the city, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds, a storm was brewing, not just in the sky, but within the walls of a lavish restaurant. This is the story of a night that would change everything, a tale where a small voice of truth roared louder than thunder. Tonight, we delve into the incredible story of Kaba, an 11-year-old orphan, and Samar Pratap Singh, a millionaire whose life hung by a thread. What happens when the poorest girl in the city holds the fate of the richest man in her hands? The answer will leave you speechless. It was a night of torrential rain. Inside the Gilded Spoon, the city's elite dined, oblivious to the world outside. Among them was Samar Pratap Singh, a man who had built an empire from scratch. He was celebrating a new business deal, his wife Ishita smiling beautifully by his side. But outside, a different drama was unfolding. Barefoot, drenched and shivering, 11-year-old Kaba sprinted through the storm-lashed streets. She wasn't running from the rain, she was running towards a life she had to save. With every ounce of her strength, she burst through the restaurant's heavy doors. All eyes turned to her, a tiny, disheveled figure in a sea of opulence. The manager rushed to throw her out, but she cried out, her voice filled with desperate urgency. "Stop! Don't let him eat. His food is poisoned." She pointed a trembling finger at Samar Pratap Singh's table. Laughter echoed through the hall. Who was this street urchin to make such a wild accusation? Ishita, Samar's wife, scoffed. "What nonsense! Security, get this girl out of here." But Samar hesitated. He saw something in the girl's eyes that wasn't mischief or madness. It was raw, unadulterated fear. "Wait," he commanded. He knelt to her level, his voice gentle. "What are you talking about, child? Who are you?" Catching her breath, Kaba explained. She had been taking shelter from the rain near the restaurant's kitchen window when she overheard a chilling conversation. It was Ishita on the phone, her voice a venomous whisper. "Yes, it's done," Ishita had said. "The digitalis is mixed in his favorite curry. By the time he feels sick, it will be too late. The doctors will call it a heart attack, and his entire fortune will be mine." The restaurant fell into a stunned silence. Ishita's face turned pale. "She's lying. This is a conspiracy. My husband, I love him," she shrieked, but her eyes darted nervously. Samar looked from his wife's panicked face to the sincere, terrified girl before him. He made a decision that would alter the course of his life. He called the police. When the authorities arrived, the scene was tense. Ishita continued to proclaim her innocence, while the guests whispered among themselves. The police took a sample of the curry for immediate testing. As they waited, Samar's gaze lingered on Kaba. He noticed she was shivering, not just from the cold, but from fear. He took off his expensive blazer and draped it over her small shoulders. As he did, the fabric slid, revealing a faint star-shaped burn mark on her shoulder. Samar froze, his heart pounded in his chest, a memory long buried surging to the surface. Years ago, the love of his life, a woman named Rashmi, had vanished without a trace. Their infant daughter had the very same unique burn mark on her shoulder. Could it be? Was this ... his lost daughter? Just then, the forensic officer returned, his face grim. "The test is positive," he announced. "The food contains a lethal dose of digitalis. A few more bites, and it would have been fatal." Gasps filled the room. Ishita's facade crumbled completely, and she collapsed, muttering denials as the police placed her under arrest for attempted murder. Amid the chaos, Sama's world had shrunk to the small girl standing before him. Tears streamed down his face as he looked at her, truly looked at her for the first time. "RASHMI ... double quotes," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. He explained the significance of the burn mark, the story of his lost love, his lost child, Kaba, who had only ever known life in an orphanage. Stared back, her own eyes filling with tears of disbelief and dawning recognition. A DNA test was ordered immediately, a mere formality for what his heart already knew to be true. The results came back the next day, confirming the impossible. Kaba was indeed his biological daughter. Their reunion was a torrent of emotion, a father and daughter, separated by fate and reunited by a courageous act of truth. Sama held her close, a promise in his heart to never let her go again. The story became a media sensation. Sama called a press conference, not just to expose his wife's treachery, but to introduce the world to his savior, his conscience, his daughter. "This is Kaba," he announced, his voice ringing with pride. "She is not just my child. She is the voice of truth that I had forgotten." A reporter, seeking a sensational soundbite, asked Kaba, "Weren't you afraid?" Speaking out against such powerful people could have put you in danger. Kaba, standing tall beside her father, looked directly into the cameras, her voice clear and steady. "If speaking the truth is a crime," she declared, "then I will commit it in every lifetime." The room erupted in applause. Her courage was a beacon of hope. Justice was served. Ishita was sentenced to a long prison term for her greed and betrayal. But for Sama and Kaba, a new life was just beginning. Sama renamed his grand mansion Rashmi Villa in honor of Kaba's mother. But he didn't stop there. He knew that the greatest tribute to Rashmi and the greatest lesson from Kaba was to spread the light of truth and kindness. He established the Rashmi Asha Kendra, a school dedicated to providing free quality education for underprivileged children, ensuring that no child's voice would ever be silenced by poverty again. Above the entrance, a simple yet profound motto was inscribed: "Never hide the truth." This incredible story reminds us that truth, no matter how painful or difficult, possesses a divine power. It proves that courage isn't about the absence of fear, but about acting in spite of it. In a world often driven by greed and deceit, a single act of honesty from an 11-year-old girl was enough to save a life, expose a lie, and restore humanity to a millionaire's heart. It shows us that in the end, truth doesn't just win, It heals, it redeems, and it transforms the world. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey today. If this story moved you, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We love sharing stories that inspire and uplift. Until next time, stay curious and always choose courage.